face of professional wrestling.
Hello, welcome back to Feast or Fired Podcast. We are doing the review for the July 17th episode of TNA Impact, the pay-per-view from 2002. I am Brian with Melanie.
Hello.
And right off the bat, I'm gonna say a couple of things. I was already kind of like in the middle on this one, so we'll see how I feel by the end of this. I can't give you any early feelings whatsoever.
I mean, I can, but that will just ruin the show for you.
Yeah, you didn't like it.
I didn't.
One main reason for that.
All right. My ADD also kicked in. So.
Yeah, maybe. But with that said, let's get into the actual programming so that we can discuss what actually happened. All right, so this is what, the fifth show? Sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right, we start off with a nice recap of like the past few weeks of Jeff Jarrett's reign of terror.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
Which actually to me it's like a hype package basically, except for a heel, so it's going over his reign of terror. But like, I take issue with this because then he basically is not in the rest of the show.
I'm not gonna lie, like the beginning, like 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, I was not paying attention. I was looking at Raccoon.
It's still, we get that recap, and then we get a shot from earlier this week. That's what it says. You apparently thought it was from the previous week, and I had to explain to you that no, when they say earlier this week, they mean this happened between the last program and this one.
I don't know why they would show it then. It makes no sense.
Get used to it because you'll see that sort of.
Okay, I need to not look at raccoon pictures while doing this.
It's to give like an idea that these the wrestlers have stuff going on related to what's happening beyond just the like hour or 2 hour program. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so earlier the week, Goldilocks is following Shamrock, and she tries to get an interview with him, and he starts screaming at her, screaming about what's been going on with him, how he's been attacked multiple times, and he's about ready to kick everyone's ass. I have said he's just kind of a huge asshole right here. Not coming off as the face that he really should.
Oh, is that what he was saying?
What?
Yeah, again, raccoons. They were more important.
Fine.
I like raccoons.
All right, so they start talking about what's going to be our first match tonight. Was supposed to be a number one contender ladder match between Jeff Jarrett and Malice for a chance at Ken Shamrock's NWA World Heavyweight Championship. But before we get to that, while they're explaining what's supposed to be happening, we see Jarrett in the back, and he gets jumped by Scott Hall. This results in Jeff Jarrett getting thrown out of the building.
I'm a little confused. Why didn't Hall get...
Okay, the way they justify this, and I'm just going to explain this because they mentioned it sort of later, is that Jeff Jarrett has a bad history of starting shit in the back and attacking people, and they just weren't having any of it, so they tossed him out.
Ah, okay.
That's the reasoning. Now, is it fair since it was Hall that started it? Technically, no. And it's supposed to be going along the same lines of Jeff Jarrett's getting screwed repeatedly. Now, with that said, I still find it weird that they're making the heels storyline, I keep getting screwed, but it's what they're doing.
Are you sure he's not supposed to be a face?
No, he's rarely a face.
Oh, poor Sunglass.
All right. With that, James Mitchell comes out. We get told that Jeff Jarrett will not be here to bleed tonight, so he's forfeit the match apparently. But instead of just taking the victory, he basically says that Malice wants to beat up someone, so someone needs to come out and accept basically an open challenge for the number one contender match.
Isn't even his title, but whatever.
No, but Malice wants to fight someone instead of just taking the belt or getting another match at the championship, which is weird. Again, not very heel thing, but they try to sell it as a heel thing. All right, and as a response to this, the lights go out. A few minutes go by, and then the light comes back, and Sabu's in the ring. So, first match of the night is a number 1 contender ladder match between Malice and Sabu. My wife doesn't know who Sabu is. I do, so I was definitely more hyped at this moment than she was.
I thought his name was Abu.
It's Sabu. All right, match opens. Sabu does a lot of his dives where he jumps over a chair and over the top rope, all the sort of stuff that he's just really known for. Malice uses his strength to overpower him, goes for a chair early on in the match. Sabu manages to avoid getting hit by this and turn it against Malice and uses the chair himself. During some of the scuffle, after he dropped the chair, we get Tempest wedging the chair in the corner, in which we see Sabu get thrown headfirst into it. There's a point where Malice does a lariat onto Sabu to knock over the top rope, and Malice gets really kind of caught up on his way over, so he almost falls straight on his fucking head. Really sloppy. It was a really, really sloppy move. I did take note that it was weird that during this entire match, there's 3 people outside of the ring, all that are on Malice's side, but the only one that's getting involved in the match is Tempest. Slash is just not doing anything.
Okay, my excuse for this one, for Slasher, is because he has like an eye patch all of a sudden, and I don't know why.
Okay, but we know at the end of this match that that's not an excuse.
Well, yeah, but I didn't know at the beginning.
All right. We get some cool moves with the ladder. We see Sabu drop chest and face first onto a ladder bridge on the outside. At that point, it looked like he cut the bridge of his nose or something because he was bleeding. Back in the ring, I see a really cool move where after Sabu gets thrown into the corner where the ladder is set up, we see Malice pick up the ladder and Sabu with it, sandwiched between him and the ladder, which I don't think I've ever actually seen before. That was pretty cool. Eventually, at some point, Sabu turns things around, goes for the contract, gets powerbomb off the ladder. It's pretty standard in a lot of matches. Later, we see Malice climb the ladder, and Sabu returns the favor by drop kicking the ladder out from undering him. Get another spot later near the end of the match where Malice goes up the ladder and gets thrown off of it again. This time outside of the ring through a table. And then we watch as the other 3 men just let Sabu walk up the ladder and get the contract. And it's not until after he wins the match that suddenly they all jump him. Which immediately let me see, ask the question, sweetheart, do you think of a reason as to why the other 2 didn't stop Sabu from winning?
Rules? I don't know.
The ladder match, there's no disqualification or anything. Match ends when someone gets the contract down. Well, one of the 2 guys.
Maybe they're planning on taking it from him.
No, Sabu has the match next week.
I don't know, honey. I don't make this. I don't write it. If I did, it would probably be a little better.
There's only one explanation I can think of, but it's me writing for them. But I'm going to explain it anyways. The only explanation I could possibly think of as to why Tempest and Slash didn't stop Sabu from getting the contract is perhaps it's a pride thing for Malice. He would never have accepted them stopping him like that, which is weak because we see Tempest getting involved in the match a little bit. But
yeah, but he's like helping.
I mean, he's not really helping Sabu, but
he gave Sabu the chair.
No, it's not that he was giving Sabu the chair. It's that Sabu got the chair.
He handed Sabu.
All right. Anyways,
the chair.
this this 3-on-1 beatdown ends with a choke slam off the apron through a table, but it doesn't really matter. We do get another shot of the Jeff Jarrett arguing outside with the vice president, and it's raining. It's inconsequential. We didn't even need to see that. I don't know why they did. Like, the match was already done. He was banned. Doesn't matter. All right. Afterwards, AJ Styles comes out to the ring. Oh, did you have anything else to say about the last match? I'm sorry. I don't mean to move on.
No, it's fine. Again, I was like half paying attention.
All right, AJ Styles comes out the ring to call out Jerry Lynn, but Jerry Lynn basically interrupts him, doesn't let him really get a word in edgewise. Jerry Lynn's like, I already know that you're coming to ask why I attacked you and all that stuff. He goes down a list of basically all his accomplishments and how AJ Styles really hasn't done anything, despite the fact that he's actually right now a double champion. I note that this comes off to me as Lynn being envious of a younger guy. I think that's how that's actually supposed to be coming off, even though he's acting like you're changing your volume. No, I see it on my screen, so you know. But yeah, after he berates him and basically says, you're going to respect me, all that, Styles waits for Lynn to turn his back and attacks him, and then hits him with a Styles Clash. All right, we go to the okay, comments. I'm sorry, I don't want to keep moving on without giving you a chance to talk.
I've been talking all day, hon.
I know, but if you have anything to say about any segment or anything like that, I want you to be able to get it.
No. Again, the only thing I noticed about this was poor Jerry Lynn, man.
Yeah, he went through that during the ECW days. It was worse back then for more independent wrestlers than it is for people that were on things like TV. We go to the back after a replay of the striptease from the previous week, and then Francine attacks Jasmine St. Clair in the bathroom for some reason.
I'm assuming it's because she's jealous that Jasmine can walk and heal.
Maybe. I have no idea. Doesn't really matter. All right, second match of the night. K-Crush versus Norman Smiley. This is basically almost entirely a repeat of what they did with Brian Christopher last week. Gets out there, he berates the audience, says he looks like a star, sounds like a star, moves like a star, and even smells like a star. I guess. He's asking why he isn't the biggest star. He says the reason why WWE fired him is because of his potential. I don't know where the logic in this is. I guess heels don't need to actually be logical. But, like, if he would have been such a big star, I can't imagine any company would fire him because, like, you would make money off of people with star power. You know what I'm saying? It almost becomes a babyface promo near the end, but he's still obviously supposed to be a heel. Norman Smiley finally comes out after he does all this. It's a pretty really standard match. It's some back and forth. We get a front slam suplex for the win, with K-Crush beating Norman Smiley. Afterwards, he takes off his belt, starts to whip him, and also hangs him over the second rope, up to the point where Norman's wife comes out to try to stop him, and he even swings at her. Grabs her.
Did Gordo get a loss because?
I don't think they reversed the decision this time.
So it's not in every.
You'll notice even in the same episode sometimes there will be stuff that's just inconsistent. Right? You'll see interference that doesn't get get disqualifications, but that same week you'll see interference that does. That was a lot less severe. It's just weird. Again, it's a problem TNA has throughout its years, but we get over it.
Like bad writing.
To the back. All right, we get Goldilocks again. Puppet is in a trash can. Claims he apparently has pissed midget syndrome. And then we also get told that his opponent for tonight is Meatball, the world's largest midget. Midget. And then the Goldilocks walks past the Dups being the Dups. The only way I can describe that.
I mean, she was kind of sexually hurt by
everyone.
Sure.
It's been pretty consistent. Joel Gertner did it like 2 weeks before as well.
Oh.
All right, third match of the night, which was... Actually, I will say this is probably the best match tonight. Flying Elvises versus Elix Skipper and Christopher Daniels.
Yep.
There's a little bit of payback from the week before. Elix Skipper and Christopher Daniels start by jumping the Elvises. Most of it they all get kind of out to the outside. It's some chaotic brawling before we finally get two people in the ring to start us off. I keep noting that during the match, Siaki keeps stepping away to go talk on commentary where he can barely get his words out without like taking huge, massive breaths. I don't know why he's so out of breath. It's weird. But he's just keeps on doing this to make the point where like he's the main guy in the group and that the whole group is built around him. So we're already getting more dissension in a tag team.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Despite him walking away though, early on in the match we had the Elvises pretty much in control of Skipper. There's a really cool move where Estrada tags in and does a moonsault on the Siaki that you had enjoyed.
Was that the rope thingy or the other one?
Yeah, he does a like a springboard moonsault after jumping in from a tag. It was really
Yeah, it was. I liked it. He did another really cool move in it for what it was.
all right. Later we see Elix Skipper does a really cool move where he does like a front flip over the top rope and into a clothesline onto Estrada. Estrada does most of the work in this match for the Elvises. Daniels and Skipper get pretty much even time. We get actually another cool thing where all four men are in the ring, and after Daniels gets knocked down, Elix Skipper jumps off his back, jumps on top of, like, steps on top of Estrada's shoulders, and then lands on Siaki to do a Hurricane Rana. That was a really cool. Like that's Elix Skipper, as stupid as he can be sometimes with some of the shit he does, is like phenomenally athletic. And he always puts it on display. We see Estrada as a really we see some of Estrada's like ring knowledge and presence. Also, at some point he botches and goes for another like springboard move off the ropes, but he slipped. And he just turned it into like a rolling thunder, where he rolled and where he like did a rolling senton. It was really cool. Really smart on him to do that and to just catch rolling without stopping and to go, oh fuck, or going for the same move again or anything. It's a really good way to save a botch and hide it. I give him a lot of props for that. I think Estrada is actually really based on what I've seen.
My favorite flying.
Yeah, I can't blame you for that. He's been really, really good.
I don't like the other one.
The finish of the match comes where Elix Skipper actually has Estrada pinned for the win, but the ref is distracted by Daniels and Siaki on the outside. It might have been because Siaki was actually the lead at this point. And what supports that is that after that, Siaki gets in the ring, hits some move on Skipper, and gets the pin, and then the Elvises win. And then after that, the Dups run down, Siaki disappears, and Estrada is left to be attacked by the Dups, with a bunch of plywood being broken over his head. So, again, setting up the eventual downfall of the Flying Elvises. Are you going to be okay when the Flying Elvises break up? Because it cannot be that far away.
What? Is Harada still a person?
I think all three of them are in, or at least the two of them, are in there for a while. I'm just saying that they're not going to be a team much.
I don't care. He'll be just an Elvis then? That's kind of...
I don't know. If they break up and Estrada still continue doing the Elvis thing, I would be perfectly fine with that.
I think he does.
He's got the pompadour going. He does all the poses and everything. He sells the gimmick, and I love it.
He's the better one.
And he's good in the ring. So like I can't take anything away from Estrada. He's great.
I don't like the other one.
Go to the back again. K-Crush is assaulted by Hall now. I ask, will K-Crush get thrown out as well? After the assault, Hall says that counts as 2. So I guess instead of matches, he just wants to attack them. Because he has said the week before he was going to go after the 3 guys that beat him. So I guess that counted as Jeff Jarrett, K-Crush, and then he's got a match tonight with Brian Christopher. I just find it weird because he said Jeff Jarrett was who's going to be last, the week before.
No, it's Brian Lawler.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet. Match number 4 of the night: Meatball versus Puppet. The only note I have is that Meatball's is apparently just a fat midget and Puppet wins. It's a really garbage like hardcore match. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
They sell the fact he's fat by having him fight with food. Not my favorite thing. Match number 5, again, I have a throwaway. It's supposed to be Jasmine St. Clair versus Francine. I'm not sure what their beef with each other is, but whatever. And I'm also not sure what this match is supposed to be because they're barely fighting and mostly just trying to strip each other. Eventually, Francine uses her belt again. And then the Blue Meanie appears. They state apparently he's Jasmine St. Clair's boyfriend. I didn't know this, but I took note that the Blue Meanie is looking in the best shape I've ever seen him in. He's actually relatively, which is weird because he used to be really portly. He attacks Francine and takes St. Clair to the back, and after that attack, Francine's just laid out, and they treat it like she's hurt. I don't know. She may have actually have been. I noticed when they were taking her out, she actually had like tears running down her face, like her makeup was running. So she may have actually been hurt. I have no idea. I probably could look it up, but I have no. If I could find.
Or if you care.
It has nothing to do with what I mean. I know she's fine now. You know what I mean? Okay. From that, we go to match number 6 of the night. It's an X Division Championship match between Loki and AJ Styles. As I said, if Flying Elvis is probably the best match of the night, this is number 2. No, actually, only other. Say. We get a really early lockup and trading rest holds. I don't know why. I think it's because were given quite a bit of time. Because we still had like 40 minutes by the time this match started, and I think they took up like 20.
Okay.
Yeah, this match went for a while. They eventually started trading kicks, returning to holds. I took notice that for whatever reason the crowd wasn't as into this because they kept on looking off screen, and I don't know what. But there was a lot of people that were sitting behind the where the hard camera could see that were not watching the match but looking to the right. I have no idea why. Eventually, they moved to the outside of the ring. I don't know why I mentioned that. Once they get back in, Loki stops a dive through the center. Styles gets back in, trying to go back out to dive onto Loki. Loki actually stops that dive through the center ropes with an enziguri, which was a really cool move. At some point, they're on the apron and they get hung up with the ropes and turns that into a dragon sleeper in the ropes. Obviously, he's got a 5 count to break it. We see Styles hit a really cool Slade suplex into a brainbuster. We see fighting in the corner. Loki is thrown off the turnbuckle. After that, there's a failed attempt at a spiral tap. I probably should take better. I should be more coherent. Just listing moves. Loki tries to put away AJ Styles eventually with his key crusher move, but it gets reversed into a DDT, which would look really, really clean and snappy. Gotta love these two. They're really good. Early on in this I can't blame the crowd. The early part of this match was kind of slow, especially for an X Division match. Eventually, the finish comes when Loki takes too much time to do a top corner move. Styles catches him, hits the Styles Clash, and wins. Right after his victories, Jerry Lynn comes out, spears Styles on the ramp, brings him back down to the ring, hits his package pile driver, then brings out the ladder and starts using the ladder to beat up AJ Styles. There's a couple of refs out there that can't stop Lynn. Lynn eventually walks away, but he made his message clear. Oh, he's standing there shouting, "You will respect me," and all that.
Well, that's true.
So take note that I don't have the written ever correctly. HDTE TEH.
Well, at least you're not like me and don't make it wrong.
I don't know what. EHT. Why do I have such a problem writing the? Probably because my hands are so cramped on that small keyboard.
Don't blame the keyboard if you can't.
I'm gonna blame the keyboard all I want.
Just because you can't type doesn't mean nothing.
All right. Anything else? Anything to add about that match?
I like the flips. Like, that's the only thing I actually notated was the flips are cool.
Yeah, you really weren't into this one, were you?
I got so zoned out because they didn't do what I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time match number 7 came out, we've come to realize the reason my wife wasn't going to enjoy this one was very clear. We never get a mention or a follow up whatsoever on
Country singer and his partner.
Yeah, Chris Harrison and James Storm. So we still don't have an answer on who attacked them, and we haven't seen them since.
And like that annoys me because I kind of like them. They're like outside of the one playing Elvis whose name escapes me.
Jorge Estrada.
Yeah, him. I think they're my favorite tag team.
Well, I'm hoping we get answers soon.
Me too, for my own sanity.
All right. Match number 7 in our main event of the night: Brian Lawler, formerly Brian Christopher, versus Scott Hall. I do question why he's choosing to use the name Lawler if he's so doesn't want to be known as his dad's son. But their justification is he's trying to make the name more famous than his father ever did. I don't see it happening. And I don't see that as a very good reasoning. The start of this is slow and dumb. He's basically berating the audience up to the point in which Hall eventually comes out through the crowd and stands in the ring, waiting and baiting Lawler to turn around. And it takes for fucking ever.
It was ridiculous.
It was 2 to 3 minutes of Lawler just pretending like he didn't understand what the crowd was saying and with them trying to tell him to turn around and shit like that. He's like, "Oh, lassos." This. I don't know why they did that. I don't know what they were killing time for. It was dumb. And then when he turns around, it just turns into some punches. Just okay. Wasn't even a good payoff. Hall moves Brian out of the ring, he throws him around outside the ring a bunch of times into the guardrail and stuff like that. During this, Brian Lawler just decides that he wants to leave, so he just starts walking up the ramp. Hall chases him down, brings him back. Lawler finally turns things around when he grabs a bag out of the crowd and smashes it over Hall's head. And I don't mean he's holding the bag. I mean he whips it via the strap onto Hall. And I hope that bag was planted because otherwise you have no idea what the hell was in there. I guess this match has no disqualification because that's a foreign object.
They were out of the ring for more than 10 counts.
Yeah, that too. Eventually get back to the ring. It's a really slow and methodical attack by Lawler on Hall. Eventually, after he's been beating Hall up for a good period of time, he goes for the goggles, hit the hip hop drop. But finally, Hall cuts him off and starts his own, starts getting offense again. Around this time, K-Crush interrupts. He prevents the Razor. He prevents. I think they just call it the Edge. But K-Crush initially prevents Scott Hall from hitting the Razor's Edge, but he gets thrown out of the ring. Then Hall goes back, hits the Razor's Edge anyways, and wins the match.
Yeah, this one was super boring.
It's not Scott Hall's best match, even so far in TNA. K-Crush gets back in. Hall's beating up and goes for the Razor Edge on him, but then Lawler hits a low blow on Scott Hall, leaves him laying in the ring. They beat him up a little bit more before he leaves. And K-Crush does the hanging with the belt as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Which is what sets up them bringing the stretcher out, which I guess technically would make the third stretcher finish of the the third stretcher ending of the night, because we got Francine. They probably did it with Norman and now Hall. But surprise, surprise, one of the people dressed as a paramedic is actually Jeff Jarrett, who throws Hall off the stretcher again and starts beating him up again and starts smacking everyone over the head with a chair again. So, just another repeat of a ending of Jeff Jarrett just going wild with a chair. I don't know what else to say about that. That's just how it's been going. I'm hoping next week we can move on from we can move on a little bit from the Jeff Jarrett getting screwed, because it's getting old. Partly because he's a heel, and partly because I don't know what they're setting up. I need some movement in this storyline. It's just spinning its wheels right now. I mean,
I wonder if he's ever gonna face Toby Keith again. That would have been fun.
I doubt it. Usually when you have celebrities, they're there for a very short time.
Really, the race car guys were there for 4 times.
This is the 5th show, so there's only been 4. All right. I think after I'm done going over all that, and maybe it's just because I took poor notes this time, I'm trying my best to give more details about what happens in matches and not just like a couple moves. But it's an interesting balancing act. Also, I'm not always reporting everything ever. But after I've gone over all of it, I think I've personally come to a decision on how I feel about it. What's your rating? I guess I think I know what it is, but go ahead.
It's a fired. Completely.
Fired. I'm fired too.
Like the best one was the Flying Elvises, and
I'd say it was 2 really good matches, but they weren't enough to save it because the Styles Loki match was so slow to start.
Like I said, I think my ADD.
And I'm still not happy with. Once again, we have no real status quo. It was just last week that the Flying Elvises were making a point about how they were getting screwed in the X Division, and now it's Sonny Siaki being like it's all about him, and they're signaling the breakup. Again, I was like, I want some stability in factions and stuff like that for a little bit. I know this promotion just started. We've been going for a month.
I want an actual answer on country singer and his partner who still doesn't have an.
I don't mind that so much.
Oh, I do.
No, I want an answer, but I don't mind that they have that story going on. I mind about things like we already had a guy quit. We already having 2 teams breaking up. I don't know. It just feels like we aren't having time to develop. It's like we don't have time for any like real development. Things that should have happened like maybe 2 months down the line. And part of the problem might be because they're all on really short contracts or something. And they don't know if they're going to renew. Or they don't know how long they're going to be able to do this. I have no idea what the reasoning is.
All I know is I'm so sick of Sean Austin lookalike.
He's not a mainstay.
Oh, thank God. I'm also kind of annoyed with cough drops, but, you know.
People that you were seeing so far that become mainstays for quite a while are like James Storm and Chris Harris, most of the X Division guys, Jeff Jarrett, K Crush. Who else? Can't think of too many more off the top of my head. A lot of the guys we have seen, there's quite a few guys we've seen too that are there for like a few.
What about Malice?
I don't know how long Malice actually is in TNA. I just know by the end of 2003 he's dead.
Wait, like legitimately?
Yes, I have told you this before that like I think he overdosed and died.
I think that was the Sean Austin lookalike. Never mind.
He's dead too, but that was suicide, and that was more recently. All right. Both are fired. I think this is only the second time we've had a double fired, right?
Yeah, I think we either like one of us has one, or we're both feast.
I don't think there's ever been a time where you have been feast and I've said fired.
The first show.
Really?
Didn't I say?
Oh, that was the other way around.
It was the other way around. It was.
Okay. Well, we're not going to keep talking your ear off with nothing. At this point in time, we would answer questions if we had any, but we don't right now. So feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. On the next show, if they come between when we record this one and the next one. But until then, thank you for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. Have a wonderful day, and keep on wrestling.
Good night.